On this week's episode of Life Has Gotten Busy. Hey, babe.
Do I know who you are?
Do you know what I was thinking about? We actually got a question about this that I think is going to be really good to answer, but I was thinking about how you always say that podcasting is so good for our marriage.
It actually is. I think this is the first time we've actually sat and looked at each other in the eyes and had a conversation since the beginning of the new year.
Probably.
It seems like, at least.
Yeah. The last episode that we recorded solo was our Valentine's Day episode, which was almost a month ago.
That's crazy to think.
I know.
Yeah, it's just been wild. Wild with work, with kids, with life, with, culinary school, with, travel and all that kind of jazz.
To be fair, we both have been sick collectively for like a month.
I know. It's been so weird. I feel like we don't typically get sick too often. I can count on my fingers the amount of times I've been sick in the past 6 years. But I feel like I think I've been sick 2 or 3 different times this year alone.
Yeah, and it's only just became March.
It's March.
You know what's so funny is I feel
what is going on?
I feel like progressively, as the longer we live in Denver, the more I get sick during the winters.
Yeah, this winter's been we've gotten some skiing in, which is good.
We're doing better than last year.
Way better than last year. Last year was
dark,
miserable.
Bleak.
But the thing about the thing is in Colorado during the wintertime, if you're not having fun in the snow, if you're not skiing, if you're not snowboarding, if you're not sledding, you're hibernating and you're seasonally depressed. So we've gotten a little bit of fun in this year's winter. And I think we still have opportunity to get out on the mountain, which I'd love to.
We have a wide open March, which is nice because then in April we'll be traveling. But yeah, we've been so busy, and hence why this episode is coming out a day late. But I'm excited to sit down with you because this is like the first time we've actually chatted like one-on-one with no distractions in a really long time. And we have a question about that too. We're going to do a dish it out at the end of this episode. But first, we felt it was appropriate to do a culinary recap.
Yeah, I think the last time I spoke about culinary school, it was like week 1.
Yeah.
Now we're literally...
Yeah, week 1 or 2.
Yeah, we're in like week 7 or 8 right now.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So we'll get into a culinary recap. We'll get into dish it out. Is there anything you want to add or update before we get into that?
No, not necessarily. Let's rock and roll. Let's get the party started. Glad to be back on the mic.
I know.
But also looking forward to vegging out on the couch and watching Netflix after this.
Yeah. And just apologies for my voice. Because again, I was sick for like 9 days, fine for a couple days, got sick again, went and traveled. And now I got back and I literally woke up feeling so congested again. So I don't know what's going on with me.
Yeah. And I think the only thing I've heard come out of your mouth is just all day is how you can't breathe. So
we need to talk about this for a second. I need you guys to tell me if you guys are more like me or more like Lucas. Whenever I'm sick, I need to complain. I need to get it out. And I'm not necessarily complaining to Lucas. I'm complaining to the ether. I'm just complaining to God, to the universe, to anyone who will listen, because this guy won't. And when he's sick...
It's not that I won't listen. I have to listen at this point.
Well, now it goes in one ear out the other.
I listen the first couple times. And then when it just keeps going, it's pretty tough.
Do you know why it keeps going though sometimes around you? Is because you're not giving me what I want. What I want is sympathy, not solutions.
You can't beat a dead horse though, babe.
I want solutions. Or I want sympathy, not solutions. And you always give me solutions. But here's the other thing. When Lucas is sick, he doesn't want you to talk to him, to look at him, to touch him.
Yeah, I suck it up and I shut up and I get through it. That goes with anything.
You don't really shut up though. You still complain. You complained a lot when you were sick this past time.
With Amanda, if anything's going on with her, especially if she's sick, she will remind everyone she's around continuously throughout the day.
Except you know what I didn't consistently complain during?
What?
Guess.
I don't know, childbirth?
Yep.
I don't know.
Because I'm a bad bitch. Did you hear me complain once during childbirth?
I don't think so, because I don't think you can complain.
I couldn't. I literally had to just... But actually, no, a lot of women are like, this is so painful, this hurts. Like, I've heard that. Yeah. I didn't complain once.
I think adrenaline just came over. You just really didn't have time for pain.
I was so locked in.
Or you didn't have time to complain.
Yeah.
About the pain.
But yeah, I feel like I'm definitely the type of person when I'm sick that I want to be loved on, to be nurtured, to be snuggled, to be like someone to be sympathetic towards me.
Yeah, I don't want to snuggle and love up on someone that's like, you sound like a pug. Okay, I don't want to be near that. And the thing is, she won't take any medicine. It's like, throw some Afrin in those fucking nostrils and get on with your day. But she's like, no, I'm holistic. Like, that's why you don't hear me complain with, like, the second my nose is even a fraction blocked, I go to my ride or die. That Afrin, baby.
Should we have Afrin sponsor our podcast?
Totally. I love Afrin, dude. I'll die for that shit. Yeah, Afrin is fantastic, but you won't take it, so.
I took Olba's oil, or Olba's whatever.
No, don't know what that is. Not strong enough for me.
Okay.
I need that synthetic. I need that lab-made shit.
The shit that if you take for longer than 3 days, you'll start getting brain damage.
Drain damage.
Okay, let's get into your culinary school recap. And I'm really curious just to kind of know, because if you guys are new here, if this is the first episode you're listening to What's the Recipe, hi, welcome. Also, Lucas is in culinary school right now. So he goes 2 nights a week, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this is week like what, 7 or 8?
7, I think.
So
8,
a
maybe.
lot to recap on, but we're not going to like make this a really lengthy.
Yeah, no, we've had a lot of fun. And I just have my book, my notebook. I've just kind of been sifting through, reminiscing on what we've been doing. It's like every other class is a little bit different. We start off with like a little lecture, then we get into the kitchen. I mean, we've learned how to make like egg pasta. We've learned how to bake like pie crust, and we've made like fruit tarts. Learned how to make like tart crust, and we learned how to steam like fresh fish and like saute leeks and make a coulis, which is like a pureed sauce. Learned how to make custards. Learned how to fully fabricate a full chicken. Which
Deconstruct?
It's called fabricate.
Okay.
When you you deconstruct it purposely for like portions and stuff.
Was that hard to figure out?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty cool. It was really fun, actually. We learned all about like eggs. Eggs are like the goat of cooking, like what a yolk can do.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, watching him flip through this, he's such a licker. Yeah, and then flips the page. Like, what is that?
It's grip. My fingers need the grip for the pages. Different kinds of omelets. We learned how to make a French omelet, which is fun. Pasta night was super awesome. The fabrication of the chicken was cool. Man, what else have we done? Last night we learned about the cold mother sauces, which is a mayo and a vinaigrette, and learned how to make both of those. And obviously, once you got those two down, you can make a million derivatives of mayo-based sauces and a vinaigrette-based sauce.
Here's something I want to clear up. People think that there's dairy in mayo. I've heard that before where people are like, I can't eat mayo, I'm dairy-free.
No, there's not. There's fat and acid and salt. So there's an egg yolk.
There's fat and acid and salt. Tell us what it is.
There's an egg yolk, and there's salt, and then a little bit of garlic, and you whisk that up with some like neutral oil until it's fully emulsified. It's called.
That's like thickened?
Yes, it's more so, yes, blended. But you're combining two properties that don't normally mix, which are
the oil and the vinegar.
The oil
and
the oil and the acid. Oh yeah, I forgot some lemon juice too. Yeah, no dairy in mayo.
Yeah.
And then with that obviously comes like aiolis and a whole bunch of different stuff, like hollandaise, and there's like
what's a hollandaise?
It's essentially like a cooked mayo.
Because that bitch is thick and rich.
Yeah, shorty's thick. We're actually learning to make hollandaise pretty soon. That's like it's a hot derivative of mayo. It's essentially has all of the properties mayo does, but you're cooking it instead. And then vinaigrettes is essentially like 1 part whatever to 2 parts oil, and then vinaigrette comes like chimichurris and pestos, and it's just literally endless. So that was a really fun. We made Caesar dressing too, and threw like some romaine heads or romaine lettuce on like the grill. And got
you let it cool though?
Well, the middle of it was still cool. You just like kind of grilled the outside of it.
Oh, got it.
And then made our own Caesar dressing with like anchovy paste, and that was really cool.
Does all Caesar dressing have anchovy paste in it?
Yeah, that's the original recipe. Yep.
Okay. So when people are like, I don't want any anchovies on it, it's still in the dressing?
It's still in the dressing for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and then any restaurant that wants to be like fancy and thinks they're the shit will throw like a little anchovy on top of that. But it's in the dressing regardless.
Nobody wants the anchovy.
Some people really want the anchovy, I'd say.
Would you want the anchovy?
Me personally, no, but my mother would, yes.
Really?
Yeah, my mom loves
she'd
anchovies.
like bite the head off and shit. The way she eats shrimps.
Oh no, it was not anchovies, it was sardines. My mom loves sardines too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really love sardines. A lot of people love sardines. And then we the day before yesterday we learned how to make mousses.
Yeah. So
like
I was going to say,
a chocolate mousse and a fruit mousse. I made a guava mousse. It was really fun.
I was going to say my favorite part of this whole experience is that he will come home with the food that he made. Not all the time, but most nights he'll come home with the food that he made. And so it's interesting because I always think about, well, will our kids remember how busy we were at this time? Like, will our kids remember us being gone and having babysitters? What will they remember? And I wonder if they're going to remember Lucas in school, because for most people when they're in school, they just go away and they come back and they have nothing really to show the kids about like what they're doing. Yeah. But what I love is that Lennox knows, who's our 3-year-old, he knows that dad goes to culinary school and he comes back with a treat. And it's so cute because in the morning for breakfast, because, it's consecutive nights, it's 2 nights in a row. So he's gone all day. The kids don't see him. But in the morning, dad has treats for him.
Yeah,
and
it's typically so like to bring back especially it's mostly after the nights that we're with our pastry chef.
Yeah.
Because we're making bread and we're making desserts mousse.
That chocolate mousse.
Lennox and Ellis woke up to a little bowl of chocolate mousse and it was awesome and they loved it.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was fire.
What was in that?
So it's essentially you melt the chocolate down and then you whip the cream in like a machine, a mixer. You kind of do 3 different things. You melt the chocolate, you set it aside. You whip the cream, you set it aside. And then you whip the egg whites and you set it aside. And then you mix all of those together and it creates...
That's it?
A mousse, yeah.
So the chocolate, the whipped cream, and the egg?
And the egg.
Is there any sugar?
Yeah, of course. There's sugar with the egg white.
With the egg white?
Yeah, so what you're doing with the egg white is you're making a meringue. It's called a meringue. If you whip egg whites and sugar fast enough and long enough, it turns into like a really shiny, like think about lemon meringue pie, like the meringue on top.
Like the glaze.
Yeah, exactly. And then you add that to the melted chocolate, and then you add the cream last, the whipped cream. And then that turns into that like really foamy consistency.
So could I do like coconut cream instead of whipped cream? If I wanted to make a dairy-free version?
Actually, you can't because coconut is pretty fatty, right?
Yeah.
You can't really whip a fat.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what about butter? Butter's a fat.
You can't...
you can whip butter.
Yeah, maybe you can whip a fat.
I feel like... No,
I'm still trying to figure... Because you can't whip egg whites, but you can whip... You can't whip egg yolks, excuse me. But you can whip egg whites. But I guess, I mean... an
egg white... So the egg yolk is the fat.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. What you can whip are things that can can take on air.
Uh-huh.
And that is egg whites.
I feel like it can.
The other thing could have totally been butter. Could have totally been butter. I'm kind of blanking, but maybe you can. I mean, I don't see.
We should try it.
Yeah, I don't see. We need a machine though. We need like a mixer machine.
Like one of those ones that spin around.
Because you can't like really whisk fast enough.
Yeah.
To make something like that.
But I'm just thinking that you have to be able to, because I've seen a lot of like puddings based with coconut.
Yeah, but a pudding isn't whipped or aerated.
What is it?
A pudding is.
Oh, that's true. A mousse is more like it's more airy. You're right.
Yeah, way more.
Yeah. Okay.
We haven't made a pudding, but we made a custard, and I think a pudding. The difference between pudding and custard is cooked and pudding is not.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. What has been like your favorite part of culinary school so far?
Probably. I mean, making pasta is always something that I wanted to check off my list, which is super cool. I'm really happy I like kind of have the understanding of how to make a fresh egg pasta. That really stoked me. And then fabricating the chicken was awesome.
Why?
Just because it was cool, like butchering a whole chicken, because it was always something kind of intimidating.
Did you have to skin it?
I didn't really know what to. No, we left the skin on, but.
No, like you got like a store-bought chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you got like it was like they brought in these chickens.
No,
you had to skin the feather and like defeather and
we had to like break its neck. And,
yeah.
No, it was defeathered chicken. Yes, that was. Yeah, the head was, but the whole neck was there, which is kind of
really.
Yeah.
What do you do with the neck?
You kind of just like cut it off, or you leave it with the. You actually cut around it the whole time, and then you leave it with like the
carcass.
The carcass or the frame is what it's called, and you obviously use that for like chicken stock.
Did you guys make chicken stock?
Well, the culinary school just runs through hundreds of pounds of chicken stock on a weekly basis.
They should have given you guys the bones to go home and make your own chicken stock.
Yeah, maybe they could have, but then it's like they don't want to waste that, you know. They spend a lot of money on that, so they have to literally use like every aspect of everything they buy.
Yeah. Cuz
that's the only efficient way to not waste a bunch of money.
Yeah. I feel like every time I ever say that you're going to culinary school, people ask me, what does he want to do with that? Does he want to be a chef? Do you have any like sort of direction or anything yet? Like,
no,
because I know when you first,
not really.
when you first started, you're like, I'm just going to go into this and see what I'm drawn to. Is there anything you're finding yourself being more drawn to or not?
Not necessarily, no. I know that it's any restaurant with no liquor license and no like real alcohol presence is a restaurant that's going to fail.
Why?
Because food doesn't make money. Food cost is high, and you can't uptick food. You can't like margin your food cost compared to how much you're charging people for your food by 80%, which is what you can do with alcohol.
True.
A restaurant can buy a bottle of vodka for $7 and make literally 100 times that off of the amount of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of scary. But then also, if you're going to open a restaurant, I think that's successful or food concept, you need like one thing, and you need to be really good at that one thing. You know, and that's what creates like a line out the door.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm just kind of torn. I have no idea, truly. I don't know.
Well, when I think of this podcast, and lately I've been doing a lot of brainstorming about what we want to do with this podcast, and we have a lot of ideas in the works that you guys are going to be able to experience soon. But I always think of myself as like a taste maker. Like I want to go to a restaurant and experience it and like review it and create content around it. I don't necessarily want to like create a recipe though and be a food blogger. I kind of feel the same way about you. Like I don't see you in a kitchen or behind, you know, in the kitchen behind a whatever it's called, a burner or whatever. I don't see you as like a chef. I see you more as like the opinion, like the curating, a
restaurateur
or like a food critic in a way, you know?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Right now, it's just really nice to fucking get out of the house, man.
Yeah.
I work a corporate remote job, and 99.99% of all of my human interactions every day of my life revolve around work.
And are virtual.
So it's really nice to just get out of the house, be around human beings that are all interested in the same thing in that moment of time. And it's cooking and it's fun, and I like my classmates, they like me, and we have a blast. And it's really nice to just kind of, and I think about literally nothing else other than just like what we're learning and cooking, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great outlet.
That's really what's most important right now. And I think, I mean, we still have so much more time.
Yeah, you guys have until October.
We're here until October. We haven't even started like wine classes. We haven't started really getting into the nitty gritty of it all. But it's been beautiful. It's been a really, really fun time so far.
Yeah.
Culinary school's going well. It's fun suiting up, putting my little chef coat on, put my fun socks on. You already know I got fun socks.
And you wear hats, right?
Yeah, I wear little hats.
But like the chef hats, or you guys wear like...
No, I stopped wearing the chef hats.
Why?
Now I just wear hats.
Do they care?
No, they don't give a shit. No, our teachers they're chefs, dude. They're restaurant people. They're cool,
Yeah.
They've seen it all. That's the cool thing about the industry. It's a lot of misfits that like to just have a lot of fun and are incredibly talented and smart. Like our like all of the chefs are extremely smart people and I'm just so jealous of the knowledge that they just have about all things cooking.
They have so much wisdom and experience.
Yeah, I know. The executive chef there has been like the lead instructor for like 17 years, and he's super cool.
Yeah.
And just so brilliantly smart. Everyone there is just really, really good at what they do. And it's really nice.
I think that's something that I also hope one day that I have, is like the knowledge that people older than us have. You know what I mean? Like how people just have so much experience. And I think that's kind of a lost art these days, is like you were saying, getting really good at one thing and becoming an expert in it. That's kind of a lost thing right now, because I think everyone wants to do everything, right?
Yeah, it's something that I really hope that I can do one day for sure. But yeah, I sit in lectures in class and I'm just like, man, this guy knows, and our teachers, they just know so much. Yeah. Like, I'm so jealous of that knowledge. Yeah. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. Yeah. Making what's fun? It's kind of a fun set of words together. So making a coulis is étuveing vegetables with a cartouche. Isn't that funny?
I feel like you just said something seductive to me.
When we first learned about a cartouche to my teacher, I was like, "What did you just call me?" And he cracked up. He thought that was funny.
Wait, say that again?
So we're making a coulis.
What's a coulis?
A coulis is a pureed sauce. Okay. And the way you make a coulis is by étuveing vegetables or whatever with a cartouche.
What's étuveing?
It's like steaming.
Okay.
It's like steaming. A cartouche? A cartouche is like a makeshift lid made from parchment paper. So yeah, if you're
like how you did the steam.
Exactly. That was me étuveing
with the cartouche.
With the cartouche.
You cartouche the étuve.
Yeah, and then making the coulis is if I would have put all that in the blender and blended it all up and then strained it and
with
made
the
like
cartouche
a sauce. Well, the cartouche is just the lid, so I throw the cartouche away.
Not the cartouche.
Yeah, the cartouche is the lid that you make with the parchment paper. The étuve
you just throw
is
that
the
away?
vegetables. Yeah, you can't use it when you're done with it.
Poor cartouche.
Yeah, cartouche goes bye-bye. But there's so many cool things that you can do in that way. Like we're having some friends over next weekend. Natalie and Dee with we are coming over. And I was like, what if I were to like fabricate a couple chickens and cut some like airline breasts and then make like almost like a peach coulis.
Étuve the vegetables with the cartouche.
Yeah, étuve the peaches, onions, and like a little bit of something spicy, like a pepper, to like kind of mix with the sweet of the peach. Blend it all up and then strain it. Make like a pureed, almost like peach.
To put over the chicken?
To put with the chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
And then airline chicken is just the cut of breast that has the fat and the drumette attached to it.
It's not a quality?
It's just the cut.
You literally thought it was quality.
I know.
And I'm over here asking servers, is this airline chicken? Like it's a special chicken?
I know.
It's just a fucking cut.
I totally laughed. I was cracking up in class and told our chef, I was like, dude, I've gotten this all wrong. I thought airline chicken was like a type of chicken that was just above the rest.
Yeah, like prime. Like
it's literally just a cut of. It's how the breast is cut. It's the breast of the chicken with the skin attached and the drumette attached as well.
So there's more fat on it?
Yeah, it's a fattier. Yeah, it's like a fattier breast.
It's a more moist breast too.
Yeah, well, you start with just fat down and crisping the fat, and then you turn it over, and then you base it. Mm-hmm. With like butter and thyme and garlic. It's so good.
That's so funny.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Because you're so the guy that like will just run with something. It's a Lucas fact.
Oh, it's totally Lucas fact for me for so long.
If you don't know what a Lucas fact is, it's literally, we've had this running joke since I've met this guy when we were 16, where it's not the same as a bullshitter, because if you somebody calls you out, you're like, yeah, I didn't know.
It's like people who are really good at trivia just like know these random weird things, and I tend to weirdly know a lot of random shit, but it's accurate 75% of the time. I'd give me 75. I'd give me 75.
I'd give you 70. 75 is like a full 3/4. I'd give you 70.
I'd give me 75. Because it's a combination of just street smarts and the amount of shit and the amount of time I just scroll on my phone and the amount of like Vice News and shit that I read.
And also charisma and confidence. You say it and people just either believe you or they don't.
I'm a salesman. What can I tell you?
What did you tell me today about health? I was looking at this TikTok. What did you say? What did you tell me?
Oh,
it's not
shit.
good
What
probiotics.
Was it? Yeah. I was like, just came across this, I think Instagram reel of a bunch of like GI doctors. And this guy was just going from one to one being like, what are your thoughts on probiotics? And they were all just like laughing. Like they're all just like, money grab. They don't do shit for you, blah, blah, blah.
This is also the problem with our society. Everyone believes everything they see on Instagram.
Well, they do. You stopped eating fucking brown rice because of it. You saw one reel
I stopped eating brown rice because of Emma. She posted on her Instagram, which is my good friend, about how brown rice is bad for you.
I guarantee you she saw the same reel that I did that I sent you.
Maybe.
All it takes these days is one reel. One reel that you come across or one TikTok that you come across, and it'll change your life. It'll change your mindset. On
yeah, this guy did a 7-day water fast because of it, or a 3-day.
I did a 3-day water fast. It was great. Shout out Gary Brecka, man.
Yeah, I also follow this other guy that says what Gary Brecka is saying is absolute shit.
That's funny.
And
he's killing it, Gary Brecka.
I like him though a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah.
He's so cool.
Man, reels and social media can make you feel like shit about yourself too. Because then I'll like come across a reel where it's like this dad of 3. He's like, I wake up at 3:30, and then it's like his morning routine. He's like, his wake up is like 4 a.m. and then he goes into the cold plunge, and then he goes to the gym, and then he's like, and then I do 15 minutes of writing in my journal, and then I do 15 minutes of reading a book, and then I get my kids up, and then I take them to school. And I'm like,
and mom just gets to sleep?
I guess. I'm just like, I'm fat.
Did you see
I had chocolate mousse last night and woke up at fucking 8 a.m. and slid on my computer into a client call.
Did you see that reel I sent you about how women need more sleep than men?
Bro.
That's actually
maybe don't go to bed at fucking midnight then.
I'm still the one who gets up though with the kids.
Okay,
So if I go to bed at midnight and you let me sleep till like 7:45, 8, I'm getting enough sleep. But you just said that you ate chocolate mousse last night and stayed up, and then you woke up at 8 a.m. and slid into your client call.
That doesn't sound enticing to me.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, I gotta figure some things out, I think. Definitely not living to my highest potential right now.
That's okay. It happens. And you know what? It's winter, okay? So we're supposed to be in kind of the depths and the darkness and the shadows, but what counts is if you're looking at it and being like, okay, here are the things that I want to change. Not out of hate, but out of love for
I come across a guy that literally like every morning wakes up and he takes a sledgehammer to his fucking cold plunge outside because it has a sheet of ice over it.
Yeah.
And I'm literally watching this as I'm like pooping
out the chocolate mousse from last
like
night.
I'm just like, what is going on?
You know what I'm laughing at? How we did.
What?
How we did one cold plunge on January 1st.
Yeah, I mean,
and I have not done one since.
Dude, life was so good.
On January 1st.
January 1 through like 12 for me. I was killing it. Yeah, I was killing it first 2 weeks. God, I hate myself for saying that. But how true it was. Man, I was in the gym like, God, this is your year.
It still can be your year.
No excuses.
This still is my year.
I know. I'm fucking killing it at work though, but I don't know life outside of that. Which is
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into Dish It Out. Okay?
Let's dish it out.
And this is our segment where you guys dish it out, we serve it up. And you guys asked us a lot of questions about relationship, which is, I feel like, everything that we get asked all the time, because I think if there's one thing that we're successful in, whether it's winter or we haven't sat down and talked for forever, it's our relationship. So let's get into it. The first question is kind of more just of a personal question somebody wants to know about us. I know when you became a mom, it wasn't planned, but was having kids something that you and Lucas both planned on doing? Did you both always know you wanted children?
Yeah, 100%. I think that was sort of our like saving grace through it all. Like, I mean, mine at least was shit. Amanda was going to be the mother of my children regardless, you know, because that was what we wanted for ourselves. And it just come a little earlier than expected, you know. That kind of got me through a lot of that sort of drama. I think, I mean, I really couldn't imagine having children and one having kids and one not wanting to have like kids at all ever, and not wanting to have kids with like the woman that I had kids with. That's something that feel like we're very lucky that we truly planned on being parents together. Anyways, right? What are your thoughts?
I don't think we ever had a conversation about wanting to have kids though until like a month before I got pregnant.
Babe, we named our kids when we were like dating in high school. Like what are you talking about?
We named our children in high school?
I'm saying we always knew we wanted to be parents though.
No, we never talked about when we have a family, we're going to have 3 kids, we're going to name. We never talked about that.
I totally disagree. I think you're
thinking about a different girlfriend.
No,
I promise you, Lucas, because I remember this. I never had baby fever until the literal week that you got me pregnant.
That's not the question. The question was,
did we plan on having kids?
No.
I think it was, yes.
Like, did we like plan on having kids ever?
Yes. And here's what I want to say. I think subconsciously, yes, it was always in the plan of like, yeah, we're going to have a family together one day. But I don't think we ever were the couple that was like, I can't wait to have 3 kids. We're going to have 3 kids. I want to be a mom. I want to be like, we never.
I don't think we were that couple, but we also 1000% knew
Yes,
for many years that eventually you and I are going to get married, and then eventually we're going to have kids and be parents.
Yes, I just want to highlight how...
And it was always with you and me.
Yes, but I also want to highlight how abrupt it was, the shift, for me at least, of like, there came a point where like, of course I wanted kids, but it wasn't ever anything I thought about. To literally the week that we conceived Lennox, it was like all I thought about was kids.
Yeah, I never thought about having or wanting kids.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's not the question, though.
It is,
not the question at all.
Did you both always know you wanted children?
Yeah, we always knew we wanted children. Always. We always knew that eventually you and I were going to get married and have kids. That's the question.
Yeah, but I didn't really know
the question,
that. I didn't really know that. I'd never dreamt of being a mom. That was never something I dreamt of. I knew I wanted kids.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
sure.
the answer to the question.
But I never dreamt of like kids in that way. I think there's a difference for me, just personally.
I think the question is them trying to understand if like we thought we were it for each other.
Yeah, if this was like
kids.
in the plan, even though it was an accident.
Exactly.
Yeah, then in that case,
the answer is yes.
It was always like a subconscious. Lucas is my husband. Lucas is the person I'm starting a family with.
That's the answer to the question.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Long story short, yes. Okay.
And I mean, that's rough though. I couldn't imagine. I really, truly feel for all the men who, fortunately but unfortunately, had kids with a woman that they truly didn't think was going to be the mother of their kids.
Yeah, that's tough.
One day. That's really tough.
It's tough, but it's good.
It's tough, but it's good.
Okay, this question. What made you pick Lucas back when you were 16? But I want to ask you the same thing. What made you pick me back when we were 16?
You can answer first. Because I was the bee's knees, bro. I was the best thing since fucking air conditioning, my guy.
Well, I think you were the first guy. Well, okay, I was never somebody that dated anybody growing up. I had maybe one little like boyfriend and like talked to like 3 guys before you.
I had what the kids these days call Riz, baby.
What's that?
Riz. I had mad Riz growing up when you met me. You never heard the word Riz?
Insecurities?
No. Riz is just like knowing how to mac with women, like just knowing. Okay. Knowing a way with a female. Well, it wasn't like I
didn't know how to flirt with guys. I just didn't like the guys that were my age. Guys in high school are fucking immature and disrespectful and like most of them don't have game.
Yeah, until your boy came around who was cultured.
Am I answering the question or are you going to answer for me?
Who loved the finer things in life, who was a athletic stallion and straight up grabbed you by the pussy and showed you what was up, showed you the world.
I cannot believe you just said that.
I was just trying to be as vulgar as possible, but I'll let you answer that question.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
For me...
Did you edit that out?
No, it's fine. I don't care. You said it.
Damn.
Learn to bite your tongue if you don't want it to be in the podcast.
Sorry about that, folks.
I think for me, actually, you were the first guy. Because, okay, I've always been somebody who has had people tell me you're wise beyond your years. You have more depth to you. Blah,
You're
blah, blah,
an old soul.
You're an old soul. Like everyone always told me that. And I felt that because I never felt like I actually resonated with my peers. I felt like everyone wanted to talk about things that were so surface level and I didn't give a fuck about them. And I also had like this crazy sense of self-worth as a teenager. Like I just knew that I was the shit and like had crazy worth. And I think it's from my dad too. My dad was always like very confident, but also instilled in us like, you're a leader. You don't have to follow anybody. You got this. You're the shit. My mom always praised us. Like we got a lot of positive reinforcement as kids and encouragement. And so I was always confident and didn't really think any guy was worth it. And then I met you. And honestly, I thought you were like the first actually attractive guy that I've seen, like bigger than me, because I was always like a more muscular girl. I wasn't like skinny. So I am just attracted to men who are like bigger than me. And a lot of guys our age were like skinny and tall and whatever. Not that I'm like body shaming, but I'm just talking about like what I'm attracted to.
I was a unit. I was 6'2", 230 pounds.
You were not 230. You were like 215 in high school.
I was in high school. I was like 225.
No, you weren't.
I was like 6'2", 225.
You shrank
as a junior in high school.
You shrank.
What do you mean?
You're not 6'2". You're like 6'1".
I'm like 6'1" 3/4.
I don't think I've ever heard you say you're 6'2".
But if we were rounding up,
sure.
You know?
Sure. So let me finish. Basically, he was the first physically attractive guy that I ever saw, and then he was the first guy that like had depth to him. Like I'll never forget on our first date, one of the first questions he asked me was, "How did your parents meet?" Which I thought was so different and cool. I was like, "You actually give a fuck about how my parents met?" And he just was always curious about. He was always engaging, and I felt like a lot of guys either didn't engage because they were too intimidated, or they just wanted to fuck with me and like make me like tease me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just want to like tickle you.
Yeah. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And you were the first guy who actually was like, I don't care if this makes me look super curious or engaging. Like, I want to be curious. I want to be engaging.
I think the first thing I actually ever said to you on our first date was admitting how nervous I was.
Yeah, you did. You were vulnerable and you were super deep. Like, you didn't just go straight to the surface level stuff.
Yeah, because like you, I was also, more wise beyond my years. Grew up in the restaurant industry, was surrounded by adults, always had conversations with adults, knew how to speak to adults and knew how to talk about the real shit. And I looked at you from day one knowing that I wanted to marry you. And
so yeah, why did you pick me?
Because Shorty had that fat ass, girl. Why'd I pick you? Dude. Because you're super hot and your body was ridiculous. And it also helped that you were super funny and nice.
Funny?
And super hot.
I don't think I've ever really heard you call me funny.
Yeah, you're funny. And you're fun. And you were an athlete and
Oh my God, can you stop talking about my fucking body?
Sorry, I'm a very visual person.
Yes, but there was
and you checked
a reason
all the boxes
that you...
visually.
Okay, but... There's plenty of people that you dated probably who checked all the boxes physically.
Yeah, and you were very confident and you weren't jealous and you were very sure of yourself. And I was a guy that you honestly didn't need in your life. You just decided to choose me, and that's why I liked you so much. Because you didn't you didn't need me to be happy, And that was something that I wasn't used to. I did need you.
Still do.
Yeah, it was something I wasn't used to. I never met a girl that especially girls that I was involved with. They normally always needed me to set the tone, but you never needed me. You always were just yourself and confident by yourself. And I always thought that was super sexy.
I like that.
Yeah. But it also helped that you're really hot and I wanted to see you naked all the time.
Okay. Next question. Did you date around while on a break? I'm assuming when we broke up. And how and when did you decide that they were the one or you wanted to get back together?
The answer is definitely yes, I think, for the both of us. We definitely...
Well, I
wouldn't say date around.
I didn't date.
I went on a couple of dates. But I think I always... Even I don't think I ever got over you for a second. You were always sort of.
Did you ever you went on did you go on a few one-off dates, or did you ever date the same person?
I didn't go on consecutive dates with the same person. No. Consecutive something else, but not dates. Because I just couldn't have the how'd your parents meet conversation with any other female. I didn't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, there was no way I could ever put myself in a vulnerable situation with a girl because I always knew that you still like had every ounce of my like heart.
Yeah.
That mattered, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't date ever. I think I went on one Hinge date.
You told me about that.
That was terrible.
Pulled up in his bicycle?
Pulled up on his bicycle.
Was he wearing a helmet?
I don't even remember.
I hope he was.
I don't think I tried. I don't think I looked at him enough.
He actually probably would have been cooler if he was wearing a helmet.
I don't think I wanted to look at him that much. Like
Safety
he
first.
just was not attractive. I don't know what. I think I honestly just did it for the plot.
You just wanted what was in his pants?
No, not even. I think I literally just did it to like do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think going on a Hinge date or like a dating app date is actually super good for confidence, like building your confidence.
I agree.
In the dating world. And so I think I just literally wanted to do it. And he was the first person that was kind of like, yeah, I'll go. You know what I mean? Like he probably was like my first conversation or whatever. I don't even remember. But yeah, I didn't date. I just like hooked up with people.
Yeah. Which I think was like healthy. That was like the reason why you broke up with me. In a way.
That wasn't the reason that I broke up with you. It wasn't the only
reason you broke up with me.
I didn't break up with you because I was like, yeah, I want to fuck other people.
No, it was not necessarily that, but I think a big part of it was Lucas is the only guy I've ever been with. Like, I need to fucking spread my wings a bit here.
Look, my parents are high school sweethearts. Like, they were pretty much like the only people they've been with. That was cool, but also I was like, not that.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
It's not, I agree.
Like, I want to be sure that this is what I want. And also, I was so sheltered sexually. Like, we weren't really a sex positive house in the way that we talked about sex. It wasn't like we talked about sex. It was kind of just like, oh, now I know about sex. Now we can kind of make jokes, but it's like not really something we talk about.
That's so different than from what I was raised with.
Right. And so for me, a big part of like embracing my own sexuality and confidence sexually was I need to go and explore other things and make sure that I, feel fully confident. Because again, you said that what was hot was that I didn't need you, but you showed me everything with sex. So in a way, I did need you sexually. I didn't want you to have like the confidence of my sexuality in the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? It was really empowering for me to go and be confident in my sexuality outside of you.
It's fair.
Yeah. And it wasn't because I wanted to sleep around. It was so much more about me. Me. I can't say M with my congestion.
No, I think that was exactly what the both of us needed.
It was funny.
At that point of our life.
I posted a TikTok about our breakup story and like why I broke up. And there were so many people who commented saying bop lore. Do you know what that means?
No idea.
Bop apparently is like women who just want to like sleep around, or like women who get around. Like a story of a woman who get around.
Bop lore? What is
lore? Like basically
lore
being like the reason I wanted to break up with you was because I wanted to sleep around.
Nice.
So
until you
in the spirit of believing what you want to believe, go the fuck ahead and believe that.
So you realize I had that dope dick.
You can call it that. Okay. This is more of an advice one. Or wait, how did you know that they were the one was from the other one? Basically just, I don't know, nobody hit the level of depth that I was craving that you did. Like, not even close. I could never get there with anybody but you. And I think it's because we literally are soulmates. Like, I just always felt that soul bond with you. I know that sounds cheesy and cliche as fuck, but I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me, I think, 0.8 seconds to know that I wanted to.
I feel like you always do that I was the one.
Yeah, the second I saw you.
Yeah.
When I didn't even speak to you.
I know.
You don't even remember the first time we met, but I'll never forget that.
We should tell that story actually, because so many people actually ask about how we met.
Yeah, what were we, was it freshmen in high school?
15.
We're at I went to a random house party with my friends, and it was her friend's house party.
But my friend from club volleyball, because I went to a private school, so this was everybody from public school.
Yeah. My buddy was like, yo, so-and-so's having a party tonight, a house party. My dad said he'll drop us off. I mean, we're 15 years old. So me and my boy, shout out Johnny D. Me and my boy
Jonathan was there?
Yeah, it was me and Jonathan DeSantis went to the party together.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And we're just kind of bopping around the party, and we end up in like, I guess, her bedroom with like 20 other people. We're all just sitting around shooting the shit, you know. It's like a bunch of people from different high schools feeling
God, that was my worst
feeling
nightmare.
each other out, you know, like different high schools and shit. And then in walks Amanda, because there was people also swimming in the swimming pool too. And then in walks Amanda in her bathing suit. And I was like, holy shit. That is the most attractive female I have ever seen in my entire life. Ever. And then you randomly were like, where's the bathroom? And I was like, I just went to the bathroom literally 3 minutes before then. And I perked up. I was like, I know where the bathroom is. I'll take you. You know, because I got that riz, boy. I got that confidence. I'm not afraid. Like, what's up, shorty? Come over here. I know where the bathroom is. This is at 15. And then I bring you to the bathroom, like, here's, you know, walked you there, and you're like, thanks, and then just fucking slammed the door in my face. I was like, ah, shit. And then you didn't even look at me, didn't even know I was even existing.
To be fair, it was dark. Oh, you mean after that? I didn't even look at you or anything.
No, after that, no.
After that,
and
no.
I don't even think there was like, they're like, no. And I think I got the hint from how you were like, thanks, like, close the door, get the fuck away from me, dude. I was like, damn. All right. And then I think after that night, I still remember like the outfit you changed into, because I couldn't take my eyes off of you after that moment. And then leaving that house party, I was obsessed. And like you always had a social media presence. So I think that was like, Twitter was already out. That's when Instagram wasn't really there yet.
It was, but it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, but you had like a Twitter presence. You were very outspoken on Twitter and always posted and shit. So I immediately followed you. And then just like pretty much like online was obsessed with you until, was it 2 years later we went on our first date?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would always post on Twitter, and this guy would always like my tweets.
Liked all your shit.
And he had a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And so I finally tweeted, we have guys with girlfriends liking our shit. And he liked that one too.
And I knew that was a subtweet about me. So I was like, finally got her attention. I liked that one too.
Yeah, and then we had a mutual friend, and then that's how we kind of connected. Mm-hmm. Was you DM'd me and asked for a number, and then we went on our first date.
Well, I think you were with your mutual friend who I had their Snapchat.
Yeah.
And we were Snapchatting, and she was with you. And I think she was like, Amanda said you should like hit her up on Twitter or something. And I was like, bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I sent you a message. And I think the way I did it, we got to find that message. That message is legendary.
Yeah, but then I remember when we started dating, I went back in your Twitter and like saw all the messages that you messaged to other girls, which was like similar, but like you would always call them, hey, beautiful, hey, pretty, hey, whatever. You didn't say anything to me. You're just like, hi, here's my number.
Because those chicks, I just like, I don't know. That's so funny. That totally was one of my tactics. I would just slide into hey, just want to let you know, like, you are absolutely gorgeous. You know? But with you, I was like, hey, I want to take you out on a date. Like, let's get together, you know?
No, I think you just said, hey, Kathleen said it like to text.
Oh, yeah. I think I said, hey, I said like, hey, I gave you my phone number. You should text me. Yeah, something like that. Hey, you should text me. I think gave you my phone number. And
I think I texted you like, not emoji. Like, hey, yeah, I texted you like emoji or something.
Yeah, you
like
texted me like a single emoji, and I immediately was like, let's go.
Yeah, so that's kind of our origin story.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the next one. It's kind of an advice thing. This person says, I've been with my boyfriend since high school, and we are about to graduate college. As we are getting older and moving into a new season of life, I feel as though we're growing apart. Tips on moving forward together and maintaining the bond that we have always had, as we are both transitioning into different stages of life.
Break up.
Come on.
Break up.
Come on.
Break up, man. what is that, 8 years?
I don't think that that's as easy for people to do as it was for us.
But if they're growing apart, man, I know it's so hard to even take advice like this, because when we broke up, when you like broke up with me, like it was literally the end of my world. Like my world was over. So it's terribly super hard. But you've been together, man, you went through in all of college. That's crazy. And you're growing apart and have been together since high school. Like, dude, what are you losing out on if you just try to just be a single individual, not only just for other people, but just for yourself?
Yeah. I think because you said
that's what it's important. Well, that's what it's about.
I think because you said that you're growing apart, you're already apart in a way.
Yeah. You know, if you already have those feelings, man, like the only thing that's stopping you from breaking up now is like not wanting to hurt the other person's feelings. But what's worth more than hurting the other person's feelings? Like your life, your sanity, you know what I would recommend? I would recommend having a really honest conversation with yourself first before you go into the conversation with your partner, with yourself, and say, is this truly something that I feel like I could grow into, like this next chapter of my life? Can I grow into this version of myself with this person or not? And be so real with yourself. Be so fucking for real. Yeah, I think you have to know the conclusion of the conversation before you have that conversation.
Exactly. So
and that's the conversation you have with yourself before that conversation with the other person.
Yep. You need to say, can I truly be the version of myself that I want to be with this person, and vice versa? Can this person be what they want to be with me right now? Have that conversation with yourself before, then go and have the conversation with them and say, hey, I think we need to have an honest conversation. This is not coming up from a place of like, I want to hurt your feelings or you want to hurt mine, but like, I'm here for your best interest and my best interest, and this doesn't feel like it's working anymore.
Yeah. It reminds me of like like this viral picture, or like it's another social media like reel or something like that, where it's like this girl at dinner and you could tell like her makeup is all smudged and she's been crying, but she's also like sort of like laughing, and the caption is like, me and my girlfriend just broke up the night of like our 5-year anniversary or something like that.
Yeah,
because they were probably at the dinner table and then one thing led to another, and it was probably like, damn, like, is this really working for us right now?
Yeah,
like, holy shit.
Yeah. And I think I was just talking to the person who owns my gym. She was saying that her and her ex-boyfriend went on a vacation together, had a great time, like were loving life, had a great time, but did not have sex the entire time. They had a conversation. They're like, is this like working? Like, we just had a great weekend, but we didn't like touch each other. Like, is this normal?
Right.
So it's like, it doesn't have to be bad to end things.
Yeah, but
it doesn't have to be bad.
That's very rare. It's normally always pretty tragic,
but like it could be as simple. Opinion. It could be as simple though as you guys. What I'm saying is, it doesn't always take somebody cheating or somebody being toxic to want to end things. It can be that you guys are in different stages, and what's best for you guys is to focus on yourselves, and that could be the reason. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine truly living a life being with someone that like you're not super duper confident, especially coming out of college, that like you want to spend the rest of your life with that person.
Yeah.
If you don't have that utmost confidence and you can tell that you guys are drifting apart, man, like you need to go. And that's better for you. It's better for that person.
Yeah, don't waste time.
Don't waste time, because you can always come back. Like, it's so much more beautiful coming back. Like, that's what Amanda and I did. And if you are to do that, you need to go and then like really leave and go. Cut all ties. Block the phone number. Move to like a fucking... If you guys live in the same hometown, you need to get the fuck out of there and just start a new life.
Yeah.
And you'll find out if it was the best thing that ever happened to you ever, or after a year, turns out that guy is still you know, an awesome person, you reach back out and you had that time to sort of figure out.
But it will still be the best thing ever because you've grown.
Yeah, totally. Because
right now, it's even more beautiful. It's even more beautiful when you can grow into a version of yourself that you enjoy and you like, and you still want to be with that person.
Yeah, right now I can imagine zero identity. Your identity is that person next to you. Like, imagine creating an identity that's just you.
Yeah.
Like, you're only going to show up for that person that much better in the future. But that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I love it. How to navigate arguments, especially around money. Money. I can't say money.
Money. About money. I mean, that one's definitely
I'm trying to
interesting.
use like examples that we've had, but I don't think we get in fights about money.
I mean, there are definitely times where I feel pretty exhausted about being the sole income provider, you know, and we'll like have some tiffs and like I'll be in my feelings and I'm like, you know, well, I'm the one that's making the money. And then I don't think that's necessarily the right thing to say in the moment, but I think sometimes it's easy for me to like feel bad for myself, you know, put myself in a victim mentality, which is not the right thing. Because obviously on the other side of the coin, like you're taking care of our children 99.99% of the time. You know, but I don't know. I think I need more context to that question. Like, is the person who's asking the question the one who makes more money, the one that only makes all the money, the one who makes less
like
the money?
Spending versus who's spending more, all of that. But I think that was a good example because I think you're right. I think when we do have those conversations that end in maybe a little bit of an argument, it's coming from a place of projection.
Yeah, totally.
Of like your feelings. So I would ask yourself, what am I projecting and what feelings am I bringing to the table and are they necessary? Like, can I work out my feelings before I have a conversation with my partner about money? Like, can I work out the way that I feel about not making any money before I come talk to you about it so that I'm not coming to you charged?
Right. Read that question one more time.
How to navigate arguments, especially around money.
Around bunny? What? I think there's no way to navigate an argument. You just got to have it. You just got to...
Facts. I think that's the most profound thing you've ever said in your life.
There's no like... I think navigating
you cannot navigate an argument. You have to have it.
Yeah, I think navigating means like trying to find a way, like trying to find a path through it. But
eggshells.
Yeah, you really just got to
bulldoze,
explode that shit. you gotta
implode.
Yeah, because that's the only way to really get to the bottom of it, in my opinion.
It sounds so toxic.
But it's the only way to really put in an argument, you got to put all your cards out on the table, man.
But here's the thing I feel like we do well, or maybe have gotten better at, is that I feel like when we do get really emotional or like angry, I think we both know that we're just being like in our feels. Like I think we both don't take it super personal anymore.
Yeah, you can't navigate through an argument. You just got to let it rip. And argument around money, I need more context to that. I need to know if you're the sole income provider. I need to know, because that's a hard one. Because it's the same as like an argument. Just put it all out on the table.
I don't know though. You know? I think I don't know. I have always looked at it in a relationship that like what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine.
That's how I look at it too.
And even though it is hard, because sometimes I mean I do, but I also don't. Like Lucas is the one earning the money. It's his money, you know. If he were to die tomorrow, I'd be fucked, you know? So I do have a really good understanding of the fact that like it is his, but at the same time, we both had an agreement that that's what he's going to do for the family, you know? Like this is our money that we get to use.
Yeah, I think if the argument is for the person asking the question, if you're the person that's earning less money and you're getting into arguments because your partner or someone that you're with is earning more money, I think what you have to do is just ask them what their expectation is out of you. You know, like, okay, we're arguing and you're telling me you make all the money, right? how do we come to a point where you're not telling me you make all the money? What can I do to contribute to this relationship that will fill your cup? You know, and that, because you've done almost that to me a couple times. And then I'm like, then I ask myself, and then I almost come to a realization where I'm like, I'm not necessarily asking Amanda to make money. I'm more so kind of just projecting.
Complaining, yeah.
I'm just a little, feeling like having a little soft violin time.
Sobs. What is it?
But I think in the way it's also like tooting my own. Yeah, that's but it's also like kind of tooting my own horn. Like sometimes it's nice to hear myself say like, I make all the money. You know, I'm the sole. You know, and does that make sense?
That's like your ego is being a little bitch.
Yeah, but you're also feeding your ego at the same time. So I think asking that person, okay, we're arguing about money because you're telling me you make all the money. What can I do to contribute? What do you need? What do you need from me?
Kind of like flip it on its head.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh, wait, I don't want to take the care of the kids full time. So like.
But if they don't have kids, like.
Oh, wait, I don't really want you to do anything.
Or they'll be like,
yeah, I want you to.
Yeah, or they'll be like, I want you to get a fucking job, bitch.
And that's great.
And then you go get a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if it's like arguments about spending, who's spending more, who's spending less, budgeting, like that kind of thing. I think you just have to come down to a really honest conversation about your expectations for one another.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, which is really fitting. Have y'all ever felt out of sync / life gets too busy that you can't be present together?
On a continuous basis.
Actually, I think
that's very normal.
I think it's never been as like prevalent though as it is now. This is the busiest, most out of sync we've ever been.
This year so far
but
has been
not
crazy.
in a bad way either.
But also in the same sense, in the same breath, we're good about. Like the other night, I literally was like, Amanda, I feel so distant from you. I feel like I haven't fucking had a time to actually just talk to my wife and sit down and not talk about like business or the podcast or the kids but like just fucking be. You know? And I think that's step one into like resolving it.
But I think it can't come from a place. It can't come from a place of like making it feel like you're putting blame on the person, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't be like, oh, I feel so distant from you. Like it's your fault, you know?
What you do to me, you mean?
What you do to me? You do it to me too.
Bro. You do that to me.
You do it to me because you the way that your tone does it. Where it's like my faults.
I mean, I'm not going to say I don't do that, but you definitely...
we both have done it. What I'm saying is that you can't come from a place of putting blame on somebody because you're not going to resolve it. You're going to make them want to be more distant from you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I mean, we what's the question again?
Do you guys ever get into moments where you feel out of sync?
Yeah, for sure.
And life gets too busy and you can't be present?
Yeah, all the time. And I think it's pretty common too when you have children. Because when you have children... it's a whole nother level of taking time away from the actual relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that happens and it's things that I think
it's normal.
I think it's normal too. I think it's very normal. And it's like, you know, if I'm going through like a stressful time at work and like I'm trying to work and close a very tedious deal, like I am deer in the headlights, you know, which makes me sometimes maybe not have time to even talk to Amanda or like, you know, and it's hard to even explain what's going on in my life sometimes to Amanda because she doesn't know like the ins and outs.
But here's the thing. I don't need to know. I think marriage also is about giving your partner grace or any relationship. And so I think what I've learned too is like, with culinary school 2 nights out of the week where I have the kids to myself, then you have your 9 to 5. We don't see each other as much. I can't complain because I want you to do this thing. So why would I fucking complain about it? So I have to give you grace of like, you're so fucking busy And that's fine as long as we're having the conversation of how can we reconnect. And for us, we have to get out of the house alone. Like we can't like do a date night here. It just like it doesn't happen.
No,
and then
you can. I can't.
I don't think I can either.
I've said that from day one because there'll be moments where I'm like, we need to like have one-on-one time and like you know, want to go on a date, and you're like, let's just make dinner at home, and I'm like, no, I can't. I think in the
summer we could go sit outside and eat dinner. I think sometimes we do that.
Right, but I am most relaxed and present in myself when I am out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm away from my computer, from work. I'm away from the kids. I'm with you, and that's the only thing I can focus on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's very normal in all relationships. I think that happens in relationships, but I think the most important thing to come out of that is having that conversation of how you feel, and then figuring out a way to get back on the same page. You know?
Yeah, and if you do have kids, get the babysitter, spend the money. It's so worth it. I mean, I don't think you will ever go on a date night that you regret. You know?
No. That's priceless. Time spent with your spouse or whoever, especially that person who you love and you guys feel like you could use the time, that time is priceless.
And do it sooner rather than later. I think the longer you go without reconnecting after being out of sync is the more dangerous it gets.
Yeah, that turns into resentment and then just start hating each other.
Yeah.
When all you actually want to do is love each other.
Yeah.
Which is just like a weird...
And also, too, like, that's part of why the podcast is great for us, because, like, we can't almost, like, argue or, like, be, like, mad at each other. We have to come on here as, like, our fun selves. And I think it makes me love you more, and I think it makes you love me more because we see each other that way. Going out of the house is the same way. You're in public. You're not going to, like, argue or, like, complain. You're going to, like, have a good time, you know?
Yeah. Kind of puts you in that zone where...
Yeah, you're a person.
If you argue, you're, like...
They're that couple.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, like, you're a person. You're in your element. You're not, like, at home where you
like,
see the dishes that you need to do.
Yeah,
and,
you can, like, dress up and get out.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yeah,
that's what I like.
It's a vibe. Yeah. Okay. Well, those were all the questions.
Love it. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good to be back on the mic. Looking forward to our episodes to come as well. I think we got a lot of exciting things on the horizon with What's the Recipe podcast.
We're just getting started, guys.
Yeah, just getting started. And we really appreciate everyone who listens. Please, share our podcast if you enjoy us with your friends, with your family. Send us communicate with us. We love hearing from you guys.
Give us your feedback. We really want to make this something that, like, we're not just talking into the abyss. We're talking to you. We want you to gain something out of this, but also feel like you're being heard, and what you want to hear is what we're giving you guys. Yeah.
And if you haven't, shoot us a review. Throw us some 5-star reviews. That'd be wonderful.
Subscribe, like on YouTube, comment,
follow,
do all the things.
We really appreciate you, and we have a lot of fun doing this. Please let me leave my 9-to-5 job eventually. It would be fantastic.
Make us famous.
And this episode is officially 86.
Bye.